Deepwater Horizon is a movie directed by Peter Berg starring Mark Wahlberg, Kurt Russell, John Malkovich, Gina Rodriguez, Dylan O'Brien, and Kate Hudson. Now, this movie had my attention when I saw the trailer for it. I mean, I am a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg, and no, it is not just because I'm from Boston. And two, although I do feel Peter Berg has been hit or miss as a director, I feel when it comes to making these sort of biographical movies, this is where he really shines. He directed Lone Survivor. I thought that movie was fantastic. And speaking of biographical movies that are fantastic, let's get into Deepwater Horizon right now. So right off the bat, one of the things that I loved about this movie was Mark Wahlberg's performance. And one of the reasons behind that is because we see it in the beginning of this movie, and we see it throughout, I would say, the first half of this movie. Mark Wahlberg is an average Joe. I mean, he's married to Kate Hudson, they have a daughter together, and he simply works on this oil rig as his job. But I loved seeing that in the beginning, how, you know, he's a really loving husband and a loving father, and he's someone who cares very much about his job. He loves what he does. So in his mindset and his family's mindset, these 3 weeks that he's going off to work on the oil rig for, that's just routine for them. Now, by the time we get onto the Deepwater Horizon oil rig itself, here is where we are introduced to more characters. One of the characters we're introduced to is Kurt Russell's character. He's essentially the captain of this oil rig, if you will. And I really loved his performance in this movie as well, simply because he came off as this guy who's, you know, assertive, but also approachable. You can really see that in this movie when all of the crew members on the Deepwater Horizon have such an admiration and respect for him. And also what I really loved seeing at this point when they're on this ship is how well the crew gets along with each other. I mean, anyone who's ever had a job before knows that a job immediately becomes better when you can make friends with your co-workers. And you can really buy on this ship that everyone, for the most part, gets along with each other. I mean, people are kidding around with each other, joking with each other, really helping each other out. It really felt like a good atmosphere. But not everyone on this ship is particularly likable. So with that, let me get into John Malkovich's character. He plays a BP boss, which is essentially the head of this entire oil company, which means he's calling all of the shots on this ship. And he comes off as one of those bosses who really doesn't give that much of a shit for his employees or the work environment itself. He just wants to make money. He kind of reminded me of, you know, the mayor from Jaws. You know how in Jaws, Chief Brody kept trying to tell the mayor again and again, hey, there's a shark out there, it's killing people, we have to go out there and kill it, we gotta close the beaches. But the mayor's just all like, no, we're not gonna do that. We need to make money. The beaches stay open. John Malkovich is basically that kind of character. I mean, you see it when Kurt Russell tries to approach him. He tells him that there are damages to the ship that need to be taken care of. But John Malkovich is just so passive towards it. He's all like, oh, there's some mud in the pipes of this ship? Whatever, it's not gonna be a big deal. This operation goes on, the mission continues, everything's gonna be fine. Now I'm gonna flash forward a little bit to when the actual disaster strikes. The Deepwater Horizon has just reached a point where the crew members cannot repair any of the damages. Dylan O'Brien is one of the mechanics who works on the ship, and he and his fellow mechanics know that this is really, really bad. But they know that John Malkovich is not taking any action towards it, and it gets to a point where I want to say the pipes to the ship just gives out, which leads to a massive blowout and explosion on the Deepwater Horizon. Thousands of gallons of oil just get dumped into the Gulf of Mexico, and now the ship is on fire, it is blowing up, people everywhere are dying and in an all-out panic. And this right here is where the movie just hits you on another level entirely. Because the Deepwater Horizon explosion occurred in, I want to say, around 2010, and you know, we all heard about it, we were all told about exactly what happened. But this movie right here really grasps and shows the brutality of this situation and just how dangerous it really was. I mean, the damage is just catastrophic. I mean, explosions have gone off so many times on this ship. Just about everything on the ship is on fire. You know, everyone around there is trying to survive. Some people are dying trying to help other people. It's the kind of disaster. It's like you want to look away from it, but you just can't take your eyes off it. It had me sitting in my chair watching this like, oh my god, I can't believe this actually happened. So yeah, it's intense. It looks like absolute hell on this ship. but the movie only sucks you in more with this. However, it is in this moment when all of this is going on, we really see Mark Wahlberg's character shine, because his goal right now is to get anyone who is on this ship off of it and to safety immediately. I just love seeing that in people. Someone who is willing to put all these lives ahead of their own. There is one moment in particular towards the end of this whole disaster. Mark Wahlberg is with Gina Rodriguez. It's at this point they are really high up on the ship because they're trying to escape the fire. It gets to the point where the two of them realize that the only way they can survive this disaster is if they jump off of the ship into the water while also jumping further past the ring of fire that basically surrounds the ship right now. And you can see it in Gina Rodriguez's face. I mean, she is horrified, she's panicking, she doesn't know if she can make that kind of jump. But Mark Wahlberg, he gives her that motivation, he gives her that push. It's all like, I want to get out of here. I'm gonna see my family again, and you are surviving this as well. We're gonna get through this. Mark Wahlberg is able to get her off of this ship, and he himself then jumps off this ship, and he just makes it over the fire in the water. So it's at this point the surviving members of the Deepwater Horizon have been rescued. Mark Wahlberg has returned home to his family. And for me, what really hit me home when you see Mark Wahlberg reunite with his family, he is just in tears. And you can see it in Mark Wahlberg's tears that it's probably mixed emotions. I mean, he's happy and he's thankful that he's reunited with his family, but he's just so devastated at the fact that so many people on that ship died. So in his mind, he can't help but feel a little bit of guilt knowing that there were still others that he could have saved. And you see him, Kate Hudson, and their daughter, they just all embrace. You even see Mark Wahlberg give his daughter the dinosaur fossil that he promised he would get for her at the beginning of this movie. And she just starts crying tears of joy. She's basically all like, oh, this is awesome that you still did this for me, but I don't care about a stupid fossil. I'm just happy to have you here. It's a really feel-good moment. And then the movie ends where we see actual video footage of the surviving members of Deepwater Horizon basically giving like testimonials over what happened, and the Deepwater Horizon explosion being named the worst US oil disaster in history. So all in all, Deepwater Horizon was awesome. Mark Wahlberg was awesome in this movie. I really loved seeing the character development in him, as, you know, the movie starts him off as an average Joe and then turns him into a guy who has to go out of his way to save all these people, including himself. Kurt Russell was really good in this movie. John Malkovich was really good in this movie for who he had to play. I'm not one who really touches on sound editing in movies usually, but I gotta say that and the visual effects to an extent in this movie really had me feeling like I was seeing an oil rig being blown up and just ensuing complete disaster. And above all, this movie just really hits you in seeing that an event like this actually happened. That this oil rig suffered damages that were so bad that it led to the ship just being set on fire. Explosions happening left and right. People dying. People having to jump off of the ship into the ocean just to save their own lives. It's just such a heavy movie that hit me to my core. I was sitting in my seat for a little while as the credits for this movie were rolling. I was pretty much dead silent on my walk out of the movie theater. I didn't really say anything until my drive home with my girlfriend. And even then, on the entire ride home, all we could talk about is just how hard that movie hit us home. A great movie to compare Deepwater Horizon to would be Saving Private Ryan. It is a fantastic movie. It's very well made for the kind of movie it needed to be. But it doesn't have much replay value in the sense that something like this, you don't need to watch it multiple times. You watch it once every now and then, and it's gonna hit you hard every single time. And in the end, Deepwater Horizon is one of the best movies I have seen all year. I loved this movie. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.